in the sport of boxing on all type of levels. You know, he has a podcast he does. He's on YouTube. You're on IG. You're on everything.
Different platforms.
On multi-platform. My man is doing this thing in this boxing with this boxing shit, man. Been doing it for a minute.
We got to go ahead and share that. We got to get the world to see what we do.
You know.
Oh yeah.
So we gonna talk about boxing, and my man here his expertise in this great sport, the sweet science. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So first, how did you get involved in boxing? And where you at?
Well, I got in boxing. I first started when I was 13, 14 years old. I was in Oklahoma, and I was getting in a lot of trouble.
As we are.
And I actually kind of like, I just love fighting. You know what I mean? I didn't care about win or loss, whatever, it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Like
but
scrap.
yeah, I was a knucklehead. I lost some, won some, you know, the whole 9 yards. So then I met this guy, one of my friends, his name Brian Standard. He said, "Why don't you come over here to come to the gym? Me and my cousin, Brian." Right? And then I was like, so we went over there, and then that's where we started. We started, scrapping. And then, you kind of like when you box, you kind of like there's no in between.
Mm-hmm.
Like people thinking
You can't play boxing.
No, you can't.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't pretend boxing.
Either you're gonna be with it or you ain't.
And pretty much you're there to what is it? God damn it, a gladiator.
Yeah.
You're a gladiator. You ready to
You ready to scrap? So
give one, take one.
people always say about sparring. They always talk about Well, actually, sparring is fighting. You know what I mean?
It ain't boxing, but
because
it's
boxing is 70%. 70% of boxing is all confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like when you lose that, that's when you start losing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Even look at Roy Jones. You know what I mean? When you lose
When he got
confidence,
tapped,
when you got tapped,
It's over.
his record went.
Sam Judah, he was good.
But in all fairness to Roy, that was really his management's fault. Because they allowed Roy to literally fight 3-4 years, and then there 10 or 15 opponents in a row who didn't even attempt to fight him back. So the minute when he went in there against Tarver, it was one of those moments like Rocky 3 when Nicky told Rock, "Hey, this dude, you've been fighting soft touches. This dude's a killer. He's hungry.
He's hungry, Rock."
And he went in there with his hubris. Mm-hmm. He went in there against Tarver.
He said
Tarver made him look. He really wasn't mentally prepared to go against a guy who, when he hit him, see, Roy had been hitting dudes for 5 years who literally folded. Mm-hmm. Roy was not mentally prepared for a dude who was gonna say, "Oh, you hit me? Here's one back."
Right.
He wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Even despite all his talent and his greatness, because mentally
he wasn't ready for somebody that's been Tarver's been training his whole life to fight.
Roy.
They fought in
Roy. Yeah, he was locked in on Roy.
He was locked in.
Beating Roy was
that was his life goal. That was his life goal.
But remember the words of Marvin Hagler. It's hard to get up and run these miles and do all this when you in silk pajamas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be a
His
bad
management should, after he beat Ruiz, his management should have had him retire and be Roy the legend. In fact, people would be talking about Roy in the same breath as Robinson if he'd have retired after Ruiz.
Right.
So when he dropped that 30 pounds to fight Tarver, that's kind of a hard task.
What class would you say you're in, Brother Rich?
In terms of when I was in heavyweight, because I always weighed like 215, 220, which I didn't really want to be in heavyweight because it's a lot bigger. You know what I mean? But kind of like it's good and bad when you're in heavyweight because guys that's bigger, they're a lot slower. But if they catch you, they're probably gonna break something.
You get hit by a bus, or you get hit by both.
Now, so how long? You say 13. So how long have you been in the industry?
In the boxing, and then I went to Eastern when I finally came back to California, to get this longshoreman job. Mm-hmm. Then I went to East Oakland Boxing Association.
Okay.
So I was fighting over there with my trainer Paul Wright, and so I did that for a couple of years, and then And I kind of just gave that up.
Well, my point of asking is, so what is your opinion on the boxing industry today compared to, say, 10 to 15 years ago?
The promoters, like WBC, they're trying to, they put too many weight classes in between boxing. So it messed the game up because everybody has a belt. You know what I mean? They have belts. They got belts that don't even exist. But they claim like franchise belts. You know, it's not even real.
You were speaking on that the other day.
Yeah, it's not even real. But you know, the WBC trying to make us believe that something that don't exist is real. You know what I mean? And it's messing the game up. You know what I mean? Because then it's like nobody don't want to fight each other.
You know, stay where they at, comfortable
Yeah,
with their
they're making
belts
money. I mean, think about it. You got a mandatory, you still gonna get 1.5 million or a million or whatever you're getting. Versus if you step outside your what's the name and fight that same caliber fighter, you know, or a little bit better, you know, so you may get 2 million. I mean, you ain't get that much, you know. The promoters, they don't unless you some superstar like Manny Pacquiao or something.
So let's say that's why Al Heyman is the greatest gift to boxing. And a curse to boxing too. See, Al Heyman
Tell the people who Al Heyman is.
Well, Al Heyman is really the man behind the scenes. Like you can only find 2 pictures of him on the whole internet. In fact, he showed up once to a Mayweather fight and was right there, and HBO didn't actually know what he looked like. We talking about a man who's done $1 million worth of business with HBO, and they didn't even know what he looked like. If somebody informed them after the fact that, you know, Al Heyman was actually here in person, and they was like, In fact, if you Google Al Heyman, you will see pictures of Sam Watson, the father of the twins, and people think that's Al Heyman, but that's not actually Al Heyman. And you know, when they talk about gangsters moving silence and stuff like that, Al Heyman is probably one of the sharpest brothers in America. He's a brother from the hood of Cleveland who put himself through Harvard and has made $1 billion, and you can't even find a picture of him hardly. The man is mythical.
That's not just with boxing though.
Yeah.
Singing.
To Budweiser, Superfest, and all that type of stuff.
You put Drake on the concert with Drake.
Like in the 80s, the Budweiser Superfest and the Fresh Fest and things like that. That's all Al Heyman. This man has made almost $1 billion. Like I said, people don't even know what he looks like.
So a question to the table. For the 2000s, you know, and Rich, being the fact, you know, it's your expertise. Who would you say was one of your favorite boxers from the 2000s?
Probably Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? And actually, Marquez. You know, Marquez was a beast, man.
Yes.
I mean, you know, people, you don't want to say that was a fluke when he beat Pacquiao. But
I thought he won all. I thought he won all 4 fights.
That wasn't no fluke.
I thought he won all 4 fights,
Marquez was
especially that first one.
Marquez, I think he won the first one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Deshaun? Who's your favorite boxer from the 2000s?
From 2000s, I'm gonna. Floyd is synonymous with boxing. So I'm gonna go Floyd definitely, yeah. But you also got Andre Ward. You know, you can throw out Triple G. I'm trying to think of my man from Sac.
Brother Tim just said GGG, Triple G.
Yeah, Triple G. Tim, what's up, boy? Murders. Oh my God. He fought Luis Castillo. What was it? Damn, Corrales. Scrappy. Hard.
Man, he rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, rest in peace for sure, man. He was a really good fighter.
Yeah.
Wiki
Wright.
Wiki Wright?
Wiki Wright was my guy. Wiki Wright was my guy.
Fighter of the 2000s, and a lot of people thought he was born, but my man Klitschko. And I'm going to tell you why. Even though he did have a conservative style once he got with Emmanuel Stewart and stuff like that, one thing people don't give Klitschko is credit for. There was never anyone, anywhere in the world, who had any claim to be number one that Klitschko didn't go make that fight happen. Anytime anyone became the number one contender, Klitschko, even though he was the champion, was like, okay, where he at? And even though he was sometimes doing 60,000 heads in Germany, he would even come if the fight could only be made in America or this and that.
Who was Klitschko ducking?
Klitschko ducked.
He was
no
ducking. Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Klitschko ducked no one. Anybody that was the number one contender, Klitschko was.
Klitschko was ducking somebody. Come on, Rich.
Let's go, champ.
In fact, with Brian,
Let's go, champ.
oh, yeah, that was clown shit though. When kids like, for instance, when Brian Jennings became number one contender, and was undefeated. And people was like, oh, his people was like, oh, we ain't gonna go to Germany. Klitschko came to Madison Square Garden and fought in front of 15,000 people instead of 60,000 in Germany because Klitschko didn't allow anyone. Like people said he was boring and stuff like that. But my point was is that he didn't allow anyone.
I'm sorry. Shannon was right behind the nigga on the boat. Shannon was in the ocean. The motherfucker was in the motherfucker. In the motherfucking boat. Shannon went to a sparring party to try to get a ring.
But he thought Shannon was actually deranged.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. When Shannon knocked him off the paddleboard, I said, man, he must have bodyguards should have shot Shannon.
I'll give you credit. He would have beat Briggs. But Briggs
was pressing him. He did full court press.
When he knocked him off the paddleboard, I was like, hey, Shannon is insane.
Same way Lenny Lewis does. Let's go.
But wait a minute. The only person I know that pressed somebody like that was the Hulk, Aaron Pryor. Aaron Pryor pressed who? Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard laughed at him.
Press conference.
Sugar Ray Leonard laughed at him.
And Sugar Ray Leonard laughed at him.
Laughed at him.
Basically, he was like Mr. T. Hey, woman. Hey, woman.
But there was one thing though that Sugar Ray told Aaron Pryor after he beat Arguello. I mean, just before he beat Arguello. If you take it one